And I'm going to finish up with Dino. Matt from Chicago, both question about construction loans. Hang tight because I want to finish up with Dino here. So, Dino, you went from shopping at Fields to shopping at Sears, which is nothing wrong with that, but you went from the higher-end stores down to the middleman stores. And why don't you tell everybody what happened? You had to live off your credit card. Your credit went to hell. And take us forward in the next couple of minutes, buddy.
Yeah, and that's, it was terrible, hard to deal with. So, but I never gave up. I never declared bankruptcy. I saved every penny I could. I called the credit card companies. We made deals where they were willing to write off some of the debt. I paid off all that. It's taken 5 years to counteract, the 2 years that I was in trouble. And what it's got me, though, it's got me a nice little nest egg. I've got a great job now. I travel all over. I'm an executive at a healthcare company, doing very, very well. Been able to save some money, rebuilding my credit. Again, I never gave up, but it's been very, very tough. And I certainly empathize with the people today who are going through it. I've had a jump start on it.
That's right.
At that point, I told my wife, I says, this summer we got to buy a home. Let's risk it. I didn't want to go to a bank and sit there across the desk from a pencil neck geek, have them analyze my whole, financial history. I said, look, I'm going to call this David Hochberg. I love the guy's personality on the radio. Let's see what happens. Last Thursday, I sent you an email about 10 o'clock in the morning. At 10:03, you called me back. I couldn't believe it. We had a great discussion. We talked a little bit about my background. You sent me some paperwork to fill out. You said it would take 10 minutes. It did take 10 minutes. When my wife came home at 6 o'clock from work, she filled out her part. I emailed it to you, and at 7:30 or 7:15 or so Thursday night, I get a call from you again. I couldn't believe it. You had already run my credit. You did some research on me, and you kind of played the American Idol thing and said, hey, it's Ryan Seacrest, the winner is, and you laid out the great news for me that I qualified for an FHA loan. Given my circumstances, I'm 30 years older than Joe, but same thing. Nothing to sell, money in the bank, credit decent. And it's all to you, David. I mean, you've made me feel good again. It's the best I've felt in 7 years. Dealing with you has been a godsend because, again, it's been, I'm not intimidated. I deal with senior executives all the time, but it's been very worrisome for me to have to go into a bank and apply for a loan. You made it so much easier. And anybody who's got similar trouble or was intimidated by the process, give David a call. He puts you at ease. He talks to you like a man, but he's got a personality. It's just not all business. He makes it much more palatable.
50 years old, worked yourself out of the 6-foot hole you were in, almost literally. He came back from not only the physical dead, open heart surgery, but from the credit dead. You got $50,000 in the bank. He's going to be buying a $400,000 home. I also educated you on the closing cost credit, right, Dino?
You certainly did. I mean, you think out of the box, stuff I never would have gotten from somebody else.
And with that closing cost credit, you could save up to $26,000 and buy a better rate and save all that money in closing costs. You never knew anything about that, did you?
Never.
And as an educated man, as a senior executive at a company, do you find that technique and that strategy effective when buying a home?
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, it's great advice. It's insightful stuff you don't get anywhere else.
So, Dino, this is Ron from Jab Real Estate. I want to take you to the next step. So you started looking for a house yet, or you know what you want to do?
Actually, this weekend we're going to start cruising the locations that we want to live in, and we haven't started, no, but we are this weekend.
There you go. Okay, this guy's ready to go. He was going to put down $50,000. I recommended that he only put down like 5.5, 7, like 10%, or as little as he can, because the extra money with what he happened to him and his experience, life experience, Ron. It's always good to have a little nut in the bank, a little nest egg in the bank, in case something happens to Dino, right? I mean, Dino's like, I'm going to have to put down $50,000, right? I'm like, no. You're only going to have to put down, whatever you have to put down, 5%. Listen, if he buys a $400,000 house, he's got to get me to 365.7, which is the conforming loan limit of FHA, or else he's going to get hammered with the higher rate. And he didn't have a problem with that, and he was game. So if you buy a $400,000 house, he has to bring in $35,000 instead of 50. Still got 15 in the bank.
That's right.
And that to Dino, 15 G's in the bank. That's 5, 6, 7 months of a mortgage payment. Let me tell you, that puts a lot of people at ease.
That's another problem out there in the marketplace. I see everyone's starting to understand the $8,000 credit and know that it's out there.
And he qualifies for it because he's a first-time home buyer. Right.
But the thing that some of the people still don't understand is that they don't have to put 20% down. They don't have to put 25% down.
Right.
There's loans 5%, 10%,
3.5%.
I was going to say.
Right.
So, people out there is so much opportunity.
That's right. Okay, Dino, one last time for people thinking about working, if you're 25 or 55 or 75 or 85, what would you tell them?
You call David. He's going to treat you like a human being, treat you like a man, and he's going to give you some insightful advice. Take it.
All right, buddy. You want to add something real quick?
Yeah, Dino, you got to call the show and tell us when you buy something. I think that's going to be our new theme here.
Yeah. Once you're done, you got to call him.
I definitely will. Thank you, guys.
Or else we're not going to let him close. Take it easy,
You
Dino.
have a holdback.
Send my best to your wife, buddy.
120% holdback.
Thanks for calling, Dino.